Today in our program Saafan for Quran, which is mean learn how to read and understand Quran, we'll stop today on Tajweed al-Quran, and taking one rule of the rule of recitation. And this rule from the rule of Nūn as-sākinah and tanwīn. And Nūn as-sākinah, which Nūn has sukoon, is not voweled, no fatha, no kasra, no dhamma, no, it's no shadda, no voweled. It's called Nūn sākinah. Or a tanwīn, which is double fatha, double dhamma, double kasra. This is called tanwīn or nunation. It has rules. This Nūn sākinah and that tanwīn, it has rule from the rule of recitation, idgham, idhar, iqlab, and ikhfa. I mentioned some of this rule before, but today I wanted to stop on the rule of al-ikhfa. When I say ikhfa, I mean ikhfa of an-nūn as-sākinah and at-tanwīn, because there is many kind of other rules, ikhfa for different letters. We talk about an-nūn as-sākinah and at-tanwīn. Sometimes we have to recite them clearly, which is idhar, or with the letter merge it in the other letter, the following letter, which is idgham, with the nasal sound, make a nasal sound. And sometimes we change it to be a meme, or close to be, the lips will be close to each other. This looks like meme. It's called iqlab. And this rule, and we'll talk about that inshallah. And this rule, it's called ikhfa. Ikhfa of an-nūn as-sākinah means, or at-tanwīn, means hiding or covering the tanwīn or an-nūn as-sākinah to the concealment of one letter behind another letter, if it's followed by the letter of al-ikhfa. And we mentioned that Nūn sākinah or tanwīn, when we say ikhfa of an-nūn as-sākinah or at-tanwīn, means we should pronounce the Nūn sākinah and at-tanwīn with ikhfa, with this hiding or with this covering, whenever followed by the 15 letter of al-ikhfa. 15 letter of al-ikhfa, the rest of the letter, after the letters of al-idgham and the letters of al-idhar and the letters of al-iqlab, then with the rest of the alphabet letters, it's called ikhfa letters. And we can mention them: qaf, kaf, ta, tha, jim, dal, dhal, za, and then you can add sin and sheen, صاد, ضاد, طا, ظا, and fa. If you like to put fa and qaf together to help you for memorization, and then after that you can put qaf and kaf to memorize it, and then ta, tha together, jim, dal, or jim, dal, dhal, and skip ra because not from the ikhfa letters, and zai, one of the ikhfa letters. This is 15 letters of al-ikhfa. That's why first you need to memorize these letters as ikhfa letters, because when we read the Quran, put that in your mind. If the noon sākinah or the tanwīn and the end of any word end with tanwīn or nunation, or any word end with noon sākinah and followed by any letter from this letter, which is the ikhfa letters, then you have to make ikhfa. You have to hide that noon, or you have to hide that tanwīn or nunation, or cover them, or it's, as I mentioned before, concealment of that noon sākinah or the tanwīn behind the ikhfa letter, which is, we mentioned this. This is when we talk about make it ikhfa, then you have to practice that pronunciation. Yani it's ikhfa, it's somewhere between the idhar and idgham. Yani you cannot mention or pronounce the noon sākinah clearly, like men or an, okay, and or مثلا سميعا or alimun. No, it's something between idhar and idgham, hiding or cover it, hide it or cover it, and or make it behind the idhar letters. This is the explanation of al-ikhfa, what that means, ikhfa of unknown. When we say ikhfa, when we correct the reciter, make ikhfa, make it ikhfa, that's what I mean. The letters of al-ikhfa, I have it here. This is, I mention again because we need to memorize them. Ta, tha, put them together. Dal, dhal, sin, sheen, صاد ضاد طا ظا قاف كاف فا جيم زاي. And this, if you count them, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15. 15 letters. Remember that. And you have to memorize them. This will help you to practice ikhfa if النون الساكنة or التنوين. More explanation for النون الساكنة of when we say ikhfa. Nun sakina here will pronounced as you see. Nun sakina will be pronounced with very light nasal sound if it's followed by the ikhfa letters. I give you here example. Min thamaratin. The noon sakina here, we don't recite it clearly as min, but we recite it lightly with hiding. Min, not min, not mith thamara as idgham, not min thamaratin as idhar, but something between them. You can say cover it, or concealment, or hide it behind the idhar letter. Min thamaratin, min, and it came here nasal sound, and we hold it for 2 count. This is the nasal sound of al-ikhfa, because there is another nasal sound for another rule, like al-idgham, of النون الساكنة. But this is a nasal sound of al-ikhfa. It has nasal sound. And it take this holding of this nasal sound, of this or of this hiding, it take 2 count. Look. من ثمرة من ثمرة, like that. And another example here, كنتم, not كنتم, not كنتم as إظهار, إدغام, but something between them. كنتم, and you hold it for 2 count as we mentioned. And as we mentioned before, the ikhfa, it's something between idhar and idgham. And if you don't understand idhar and idgham, I will explain it to you. Idhar means to recite the nun sakina, like this example, min kull. The kaf come after nun sakina, it's ikhfa letter. طيب, how can we practice this nun sakina? We don't recite it min clearly, and we don't recite it merging like mek kulli. Also, we don't recite it like that. طيب, what we have to do? We have to do it in between. Min kulli, like the example here is mentioned. Min kulli, not min kulli, not mek kulli, but in between min, and we hold this hiding for 2 count, which is mean we hold this nasal sound, we hold this covering, and for how long? For 2 count, like this. Hide the sound of noon, and by not saying the noon clearly, as I mentioned, and also by holding the sound of hiding for 2 count, as I mentioned right now. Why? Because it's followed by ikhfa letter, which is kaf. Min kulli. This is one example to be clear for you. If I ask you about what's the letter of al-ikhfa here, the letter of al-ikhfa, we mentioned them before, and just I want you to review and add what's the missing. The first one, sin, sheen, صاد, ضاد, but the other one here, dal, and what's missing? Dhal. And after that, ta, what's missing here? Dha. And after ta, what's missing? Tha. And then after qaf, kaf. And fa, jim, at what's missing? Zay. This is as worksheet to find out you understand, you memorize the ikhfa letter or not. And that's, as I mentioned before, it's 15 letters, which is the letter of ikhfa. And don't worry, we'll have example, inshallah. I'll make it easy for you. This is the example which I would like to mention them right now, and to practice and to make it easy when we recite the Quran. And this is example, and this is a lesson of example how to practice ikhfa of an-nun as-sakina or a tanwīn. And this is a word has a nun sakina there, and followed by صاد, which is ikhfa letter. And how can we pronounce it? Look, we read like that. Unsurna, not unsurna, because we have to hide this nun. Why? Because it's followed by صاد. صاد, ikhfa letter. Unsurna, the same. أنفسهم. The other example. ينسلون. طب what about the tanwīn example? إخفاء of that tanwīn. شيء قدير. أنطق. كنتم. And this is the example. We can recite it again. انصرنا. Other one. أنفسهم. And the other one. ينسلون. And the other one. شيء قدير. And the last line. أنطق. And the last word. كنتم. And this is إخفاء rule of النون الساكنة and التجويد. And remember this because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala command to recite the Quran as should be recited. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا, means when you recite the Quran, recite it and read it with tartil, means clearly, and give every letter its right with tajweed rules. And now we teach you one of that rule, which is al-ikhfa, how to pronounce the noon sakina and a tanween when it's followed by these letters, ikhfa letters. And here an example, we can find out where is the ikhfa example there. Remember, it's not all of them has ikhfa example. Some of them have, some of them not. And that's what worksheet we need to work on. Like for example, the first one, there is no ikhfa. صغير وكبير. There is no ikhfa. But what about this? ولا يابس. There is no ikhfa. في زجاجة. Nothing. على شفا جرف هار. Nothing. ما كان لبشر. Nothing. بعذاب أليم. Nothing. نبأ نوح. Nothing. رسول كريم. It has, because nunation double kasra followed by kaf. رسول كريم. Here. ولا صديق حميم. صديق حميم. Nothing. لا أضيع عمل عامل. Nothing. Then we have only one example in this page. إخفاء. رسول كريم. And this was as test for us to find out we understand the rule of recitation or not. And also, when we come back for Al-Quran Al-Kareem, this is symbol, phrases from Al-Quran Al-Kareem. Give us example about the rule of Al-Ikhfa. In Surat, the part from the Surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, وَمِن separate, شَرِّ separate, حَاسِدٍ separate. But when we join them, we have to practice the rule of recitation. We have to practice the rule of النون الساكنة here, because it followed by sheen. The sheen is a ikhfa letter. Noon sakina followed by sheen. Then we have to hide this noon and practice ikhfa like that. وَمِن شَرِّ, not وَمِن شَرِّ. That's why you find in some Quran, some masahif, they don't mention the sukoon there. To explain for you, there is something there. There is ikhfa. Some other masahif, they put the sukoon there. And the masahif, they don't put the sukun there. It's easier for you to practice ikhfa. Don't pronounce this noon like that. وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ. And when we join that, another example here. This is shar, and here النفاثات. طيب, if we join them, there is a rule. شر النفا. But this is not our example. Our example, the men before shar. وَمِن شَرْ. And that's what we mention here. We don't need this example. This is, I think, what we need. وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ. Not وَمِن شَرِّ. It's, you hide that noon because it's ikhfa, because it's followed by sheen. And what's that sheen? Sheen, the letters are from the letter of ikhfa. And that's why when we recite all of this surah, which is Surat Al-Falaq, we practice ikhfa with this surah today. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. And this is all of the example of al-ikhfa in this surah, Surat Al-Falaq. The first example, min shar. And another example, wa min shar. And the other verse, wa min shar. And the other one, wa min shar. All of these, the example of the ikhfa in Surat Al-Falaq. I recite it without looking and just listen. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. صدق الله العظيم وبلغ رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصلى الله على آله وصحبه أجمعين. And now inshallah we'll take break and we'll come back inshallah for continuing our program. And وصلى الله تعالى وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وإلى اللقاء. Take a break.